reminds me of, why I loved reading to begin with. Audiobooks are absolutely books that I have for helping you read and exceed meet and exceed your reading goals. Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Erin and I'm so glad that you're visiting my channel today. Today's video is going to be 5 tips for helping you read more. And these are tips that have helped me read more just this last year. In 2023, I read the largest number of books that I've read in a single year. I will insert the number of books that I read in 2023 somewhere on the screen here. Without further ado, here are the 5 tips that will help you to meet and exceed your reading goals. Tip number 1 is to participate in a reading challenge. Now, obviously there are lots of different apps out there that can help you to feel encouraged to meet a certain reading challenge, but you don't even have to go that complicated. You can just set a challenge for yourself. And when setting a challenge for yourself, I definitely recommend writing it down somewhere, maybe on a Post-it note, putting it on your mirror or on your fridge, and also potentially sharing that reading challenge with a friend so that you have someone that can help hold you accountable. For me this year, I do have a high number of books that I'm hoping to read within 2024, but more so than that, the challenge that I've set for myself this year is to improve my reading skills and therefore become a stronger, more critical reader. So focusing on the quality of my reading versus the quantity. So a reading challenge can be a number of books, it can be what you read or how you read. It's really whatever type of challenge you want to set for yourself. Tip number 2 is to track your progress. So I like to track my progress through a couple of different bookish apps, but you can also do this very, very simply. You could have a journal that you dedicate for tracking your reading. You could have a spreadsheet. You could even make like a little star chart where once you've finished a book, you get to add a check mark or a sticker, whatever feels motivating to you. I actually used to use this book lover's journal before I had ever had a Goodreads account. So something like this is a good way to track. You can also make something for yourself. But the reason I find tracking your reading progress to be really helpful is it helps you to see how far you've come, because sometimes you will run into a reading slump, and those are the times where it can be really, really easy to fall off track with your reading goals. But if you've been tracking what you've been reading and you find yourself in a reading slump and you go back to those notes, it can be encouraging and motivating, particularly when you're in one of those reading slumps. Tip number 3 is to read audiobooks. I, at one time, used to think that reading audiobooks was cheating because I wasn't reading it with my eyes. But in all actuality, audiobooks are absolutely books. They absolutely count. Audiobooks are great for people who have low vision and large print books aren't available, or books in Braille are not available. Audiobooks are great for folks who have to commute to and from work, for example, and that's the only time that they have to read. Audiobooks are great for providing a more immersive experience when reading a story. Because quite often the people that narrate audiobooks are voice actors, and it just creates such a different experience of the story when you listen to it and have someone read it to you. I also kind of find audiobooks to feel similar to when I was a kid and books were read to me. So in that way, they feel kind of nostalgic, and it reminds me of, why I loved reading to begin with. So count your audiobooks, listen to them, and don't let people try to tell you that audiobooks do not count, because they absolutely do. Tip number 4 is to join a book club, or if you don't have a book club that is convenient to where you live, you can make your own book club. This could be as simple as you and a friend making your own book club and reading a book together once a month, or however frequently works for your schedules. Lots of libraries will have free book clubs. I'm actually a member of my local library, and we meet once every 4 to 6 weeks, and it's really a fun time to get together and just discuss books with other people who love to read. There are also now a lot of online book clubs. I'm trying my very first online book club this year on the app Fable. And if you watched my last video where I talk about my TBR for January, I mention the book that I'm reading for that book club. And yeah, there's so many ways that you can read with other people. And when you're reading with other people, it becomes this more exciting and more fun experience. And it also helps to hold you accountable as well. So whether you have a local book club that you can join, one that you can join online, or make one yourself, I definitely think that joining a book club is definitely going to help with your reading goals. And tip number 5 is to make reading a habit. So one thing that I challenged myself to do last year was to read for at least 10 minutes every single day. And I did. And 10 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, and it really isn't. But obviously there were days that I read more than 10 minutes. And in fact, there were probably more days than not that I read 10 plus minutes. But there were some days where maybe I was just really tired, or I just had a bad day and didn't really feel like reading. And I just told myself, just 10 minutes, that's all you have to read. And usually by the end of those 10 minutes, I felt really good. And I had this sense of accomplishment that I had prioritized something that I love and had given myself 10 minutes of dedicated time to read. Also with habits and making reading a habit, I found for me that carving out reading time within a certain part of my routine really, really helped me build it as a habit. So for instance, once I had gotten myself ready for bed and I was in bed, I would read for at least 10 minutes before falling asleep. Now, I know some people don't like to read right before bed, so you can insert reading time whenever works best for you and your routine. But having that connection between after I brush my teeth and I get into bed, that's when I start reading. That helped me mentally to form reading as a habit last year. So forming it as a habit is definitely going to help increase the amount of time that you're reading, even if you're only reading for a few minutes each day. And those were the 5 tips that have helped me increase my reading time and to meet and exceed my reading goals in 2023. If you have any tips that you have found helpful in, making your reading goals happen, please share those down in the comments. I would love to know what tips have worked for you. Yeah, let's just keep the conversation going. I also want to say thank you so much to everyone who has liked, who has commented, who has subscribed to my channel. It's always such a delight to get a notification that someone has watched a video and commented, especially with my channel being so very new. So thank you so much to everyone who is supporting my channel in these very, very early days. It really, really means so much to me. Until next time, I hope that you have a lovely and cozy book to curl up with. Bye-bye.